Hi, how are you today? I am so glad that you're here. If you're new here, I'm Dawn. I'm 56 and I'm from Just Doing My Best. Today, I'm going to do a get ready with me and we're going to talk about some new spring makeup. Most everything I'm going to use today is either super new or it's super new to me, but everything will be linked in the description below, and I would love to know if you like get ready with me videos. I'm always trying to make my videos shorter, so get ready with me videos tend to be a little longer, but I like them because it kind of answers a lot of questions. If you're talking about just a primer or just a lipstick, there are always a lot of follow-up questions, so a get ready with me kind of helps with all of the follow-up questions. Well, what do you use before that? Well, what do you use after that? And if you like affordable makeup, affordable beauty for mature skin, be sure that you're subscribing. Be sure that you hit the bell notification so you know when new videos come out, and come over and find me on Facebook or Instagram at Just Doing My Best, because I am always sharing new makeup, skincare, and affordable fashion for those of us who are a little bit more mature. So let's get started with a brand new primer. I have all my skincare on. If you have normal or dry mature skin, I envy you. You know, everybody wants something that they don't have. I've always had very oily skin, so I always start with a makeup primer. This one, not only does it give you 18-hour wear time, but it's an SPF of 30. This has been phenomenal. I am loving this so much. This is the NYX Blur Screen 30 primer. Loving this. All right, I already started out by forgetting something. I forgot that I always do my eyebrows first before primer and foundation. Eyebrows are done, and I'm using a micro pencil from Makeup Revolution in the color light brown. If you're not using a primer, I just put out this video here where I talked all about primer and the benefits of using primer, and this primer is no different. The only difference between this primer and the one I used in this video is this one has SPF 30, but the one I used in that video, so good, especially if you have dry skin. But primer is great for really smoothing out the skin, refining pores, giving your makeup something to stick to so that it lasts all day long and looks great, whether you have an event or you just live somewhere where the air is like soup in the summertime. That's what it's like here. So it just blends clear. It's no white cast. There's some really good ingredients in this. And now I have just amplified the wear time on my makeup and protected my skin with SPF 30. After primer is foundation, and I am using the Revlon Illuminance Serum Tint with also SPF 15. This is pretty new and this is so good. I am just loving the coverage that this gives. The only thing that I don't love is you just don't get a lot with this. Just a little bit more for my forehead. In terms of coverage for a skin tint, for a serum skin tint, which tend to run a little bit lighter, I'm super impressed by this Revlon Illuminance. This is so good. And next, new product. And again, this is another one that I talked about in this video here, where I compared a lot of color correctors, and then I really took a deep dive into color corrector 101. If you are over 40, if you are over 50, and you have ever said, I cannot find a concealer that works for me, you probably need a color corrector. At the end of this video, please, please, please go watch this video. This e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener, fantastic, one of the best that I have used, and I would absolutely put this up against some of the more expensive color correctors that I have used. I'm using the color Fair, and you'll notice I didn't put foundation underneath my eyes. I always leave foundation out of the equation underneath my eyes because now I will put on color corrector and then concealer. If you're new to color correcting, this one is fantastic. And for $8, oh my gosh. Before I apply concealer, I always go in with a light spritz of setting spray because again, super oily. It's very humid where I live. I need to give my makeup a chance to survive all day. I'm using the Milani Make It Last, and then I kind of set it all in place with a makeup sponge. For concealer, I'm using the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum in the color Light. I will try to link as many of the brushes that I'm using. Also, I'm using this brush from BK Beauty to apply my concealer, and I also used it for the color corrector. And now I'm going to set it with a Morphe setting powder, and I like to set it with the color Brightening Pink. Can you hear my roosters? Actually, if you've been here before and you've heard the roosters, we only have one rooster now. We gave one of our neighbors a rooster because he was having a problem with the literal fox getting into his hen house and killing all of his chickens. So we had two very noisy roosters for a while, and we gave one to our neighbor. I don't go in with a lot of powder. I don't keep adding more powder to the brush. I end up just using what I have left on the brush most of the time. Another new product that I'm loving is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. I'm using the color Dusty Rose. I talked all about cream and liquid blush in this video here. Just doing a few dots high up on my cheek. That is so nice and serves as a really good base if you want to put on some powder blush right over the top. I rarely ever do eye looks. I don't care for a lot of eyeshadow because I'm so hooded. So I really avoid that. You'll see what I do instead. So I'm just going to apply one color of eyeshadow. And this is actually just a color from Ulta. It's one of the single pot shadows. And this color is called Petite. So all I'm doing is just giving myself a light neutral lid. My next new product is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. And these come in several colors, which can be overwhelming, but I kind of appreciate because I'm so fair-skinned that if I just get a bronzer, it ends up being so dark. And the idea of bronzer, obviously, is just to be kissed by the sun. I'm using the lightest color, and it is called Buttercup. So you can either look for light or look for Buttercup. Just where the sun would hit. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to put some on my nose also. But I kind of like it on my nose. But I kind of like keeping the middle of my nose light, so it kind of serves sort of as a bronzer, sort of as a contour. But here's what I do with my bronzer is I always apply it really high up on my eye, just below the brow. So it kind of serves as a little bit of a sun-kissed look, and then it also serves as a little bit of eye makeup. I'm going to go in with just a hint of powder blush, and I'm using the Wet n Wild blush in Pinch Me Pink. Always put blush above my eye also. Just ties everything together and gives you a really pretty look without using a lot of eyeshadow. I don't use a lot of liquid eyeliner, but someone recommended this Physicians Formula liquid eyeliner, and I'm using, I believe it's called Brown. It's so good. I'm going to go in with my favorite lip liner, and I have a really neat, really affordable lip plumper to go over it. But I also have a tip for you, especially if you have oily skin like I do. And this lip liner is Maybelline, and it is the color that I use almost all the time. When you see me 95% of the time, this is what I'm using. And this is the Maybelline Color Sensational Shaping Lip Liner in the color 105 Nude Whisper. I always put a little translucent powder in the cap, not much, and then I tap off the excess so there's not a lot in there. Swirl my brush in there and set my lip liner. If you're like me, you're oily, you tend to get a little bit of creasing underneath your eyes. Keep one of these triangle puffs handy, because then you can just do this. No makeup on it. It won't mess up your makeup, and it just kind of gets that makeup to melt together. You could easily do this with your fingers, and the heat from your hand will kind of melt that together, but oftentimes maybe our hands are dirty. So I keep one of these, clean one on hand all the time, and I just kind of melt it all back together where it creases, because let's be honest, at my age, I do get a little bit of creasing no matter how hard I work at it, sometimes on the 11th, sometimes underneath the eye, and this just makes it so easy to just melt it all back together. Before my mascara and before my lip plumper, I'm going to set this again with another spritz of the Milani Make It Last setting spray. I have not added the lip plumper yet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply mascara. I always apply mascara after my setting spray. My favorite mascara ever in the whole world is the Milani highly rated lash extensions tubing mascara. I love this. Last thing to do is the lip plumper, and this one is from Essence, and I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Essence. Seems like everything that I have ever tried from Essence, although very affordable, I've either loved it or hated it. There's no in between. And I have showed this lip plumping oil from Essence before and love it. This is such a beautiful color. I will link it. But this one is from their Emily in Paris line, and it's just a clear pinkish lip oil primer. Very pretty. For under $5, I really like this one. I hope you enjoyed this Get Ready With Me for spring. I will link all of the new products and everything that I use down in the description below. Be sure to come over and find me on Facebook or Instagram at Just Doing My Best. Go ahead and like this video. Be blessed, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.